Greetings to all viewer. This is Sonam Singh. In this video, we will discuss an important topic, teaching methods and strategies. So at very first, we will start with teaching strategies. Let's see here. The term strategy has been popularly used in the case of battle or war. But during the recent past, social scientists have also started using it. There is no doubt that the use of right strategy in teaching, as in any other endeavor, smoothens the process of teaching and quickens learning. An instructional or teaching strategy, according to B.Ed Smith, refers to a pattern of teaching acts that serves to attain certain outcomes and to guard against others. An instructional strategy is a purposefully conceived and determined plan of action. Means an strategy is a purposefully conceived and determined plan of action. According to Professor B.B. Stresses defines a teaching strategy as a generalized plan for a lesson which includes structure, desired learner behavior in terms of the goals of instruction, and an outline of tactics necessary to implement the strategy. These are the definitions of strategy. So, here we will see function of teaching strategies. First point, ensuring that certain learning will be acquired in as brief a time as possible. Second is inducing student to engage in exchange of ideas. Third is minimizing the number of wrong responses as the students attempt to learn a concept, principle, etc. Fourth is ensuring the attainment of certain content objectives. After that, difference between method, strategies and techniques. So let's see here. According to Professor Broadley, methods refer to the formal structure of the sequence of acts commonly denoted by instruction. The term method covers both strategy and tactics of teaching and involves the choice of what is to be taught. Means the method refers to the nature of the content, and the strategies refers to the objectives of the content. So let's see here. Method is a wider term. It includes strategies and techniques of teaching. Different strategies may be adopted in following a method. Teaching strategy may include different techniques of teaching. Different techniques may be used within the same strategy and method. Professor E. Stones and S. Morris, on the other hand, define the term teaching strategy comprehensively. They point out that it is a means to achieve learning objective. According to them, teaching strategy is a generalized plan for a lesson which includes structure, desired learner behavior in terms of goals of instruction, and an outline of planned tactics necessary to implement the strategy. The lesson strategy is a part of a larger development scheme of the curriculum. Methods and teaching strategy have the same objectives, bringing desirable change in the behavior of the learner. However, they differ in certain respects. Point number 1, the term teaching strategy owes its origin to military science, where method is a term of pedagogy. Second point is teaching strategy is based on modern theory of organization, task and relationship centered, whereas method is based on classical theory of organization, task centered. Point number third, the behavioral objectives and learning conditions are two basic elements of teaching strategy. The behavioral objectives and learning conditions are two basic elements of teaching strategy. The objective determine the strategy, cognitive, affective and psychomotor. The content and mode of presentation are the main element of teaching methods. The content and mode of presentation. Content and mode of presentation are the main elements of teaching methods. The method determines the method, telling, showing and doing. Point number 4. A teaching strategy assumes that teaching is a science and method assumes that teaching is an art. Teaching strategy assumes that teaching is a science and method assumes that teaching is an art. The strategy of teaching make use of tactics in teaching and methods are implemented by techniques of teaching. Point number 6. Teaching strategies use micro approach to teaching, whereas methods of teaching employ macro, M-A-C-R-O, macro approach. Point number 7. Teaching strategies are evaluated in terms of achieving objectives by administering criterion test. Achievement test is used to evaluate teaching methods in terms of mastery of subject matter, means command of content. Point number 8 is the teaching strategy aims at achieving the objective by creating appropriate learning conditions. The main focus of the teaching method is the effective presentation of the subject matter to have the mastery over it. These are the basic differences between teaching methods and teaching strategies. Now here we will see the process of teaching strategy building. It rests on the following consideration. Point number 1, the educational philosophy of the institution. Point number 2, the objectives of the learning situations. Point number 3, the learning theory to which the teacher subscribes. Point number 4, the most suitable functions for the strategy. Point number 5, the observation and feedback plans. Point number 6, the modification and improvement of the strategy in terms of feedback. These are the process of teaching strategy building. After that, we'll see here main characteristics of the teaching strategies. Point number 1, they should aim at developing the desire to do work with the highest measure of efficiency of which one is capable. The motto of every school and his pupils should be everything that is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Whether it be making a speech, writing a composition, drawing a map, cleaning the classroom, making a book rack or forming a queue, they should aim at inculcating love of work. Point number 2, they should aim at developing the capacity for clear thinking. Point number 3, the strategies of teaching should expand the range of student interest. Point number 4, They should provide numerous opportunities of participation in freely accepted projects and activities in which discipline and cooperation are constantly in demand. Point number 5. They should aim at providing opportunities to pupils to apply practically the knowledge that has been acquired by them. Point number 6. They should aim at the quickening of interest and training in efficient techniques of learning and study. Point number 7. They should train the students in the art of study. Point number 8. They should be adopted to suit different level of intelligence. Point number 9. They should be such as they balance the claim of individual work with cooperative or group effort. After that, we'll see principle of teaching strategy building. Point number 1, principle of selections. A number of factors on which the selection, a choice of a particular strategy depends should be taken into consideration while adopting appropriate approach to teaching learning. Means learners' capabilities, availability of resources, entry behavior, type of organizational climate available, quality of teacher preparation, objectives to be achieved, and nature of curricular content, etc. Point number 2, principle of motivation. Motivation is basic of learning, and teachers should judiciously adopt appropriate strategies accordingly. Point number 3, principle of maxims of teaching. While evolving an appropriate approach and method, a teacher has to take into consideration certain basic tenets that guide the direction in which he or she should proceed. Point number 4, principle of variety. Teaching learning strategies may assume a variety of modes and may involve a variety of activities on the part of learners and teachers. After that, point number 5, principle of correlation with environment. Use of physical, economic and socio-cultural environment found around the school for making learning more concrete and meaningful should be regarded as one of the important approaches to teaching learning. Point number 6, principles of feedback. Receiving regular feedback for the improvement of both teaching and learning should form an inbuilt component of teaching learning strategy. A system of continuous evaluation plays an important role in providing regular feedback indicating strength and weakness of the process. Point number 7, principle of individual differences. Paying individual attention to each learner and allowing him/her to proceed at a pace suiting to his/her abilities and aptitudes is one of the fundamentals of pedagogical approach. Point number 8, principle of child's all-round development. Need for the non-scholastic dimensions of child's personality should also be appreciated. Accordingly, co-curricular activities should be treated as an integral part of school curriculum.